putting the brakes on photo radar, why some enforcement cameras may not be catching speeders. SGI sees a rise in insurance claims, the reasons behind the record year. And Transit Talk, how will new rules on city buses be monitored?
This is CTV News with Chantel Saunders.
Good evening. We begin tonight with photo radar in Saskatchewan. SGI says the speed enforcement cameras may be temporarily inactive as it switches vendors. CTV's Stacey Hine on what this means for Saskatchewan drivers and the revenue that won't be collected.
These boxes are meant to house photo enforcement cameras, but after SGI's contractor ended its agreement early and removed its equipment, some of them may now be empty. SGI says equipment will be temporarily out of service at some points as it switches vendors for its photo speed enforcement program. The previous vendor, Vieira Mobility Systems, had provided, installed, and maintained the cameras and processed photo enforcement tickets since 2020. SGI says at the end of May, the vendor made a business decision to end its agreement early. CTV News has reached out to Vieira Mobility Systems for comment, but did not hear back by broadcast. For some drivers, having cameras offline is a bit of a relief.
I live right by here, so I drive this way, and knowing that they're inactive is like, oh, thank God.
One driver says the fines are costly.
Anytime I get one of those tickets, I'm just thinking, like, how does a family that earns like even a little bit less, like how are they making this work when they get one of these tickets?
Some drivers say the cameras can help keep the roads safe.
The cameras are very beneficial. I don't think that it's a cash grab. It's for safety reasons.
I do agree with them in school zones. The highways, maybe not as much. I mean, you're doing a little bit over and you're paying how much?
Until the cameras are back online, the Saskatoon Police Service says members of the traffic unit will be adding these areas to their enforcement rotation as time permits. But it notes, due to the high volume of priority areas that require enforcement, there will not necessarily be an increased focus on areas previously covered by a speed enforcement camera. The Regina Police Service told CTV News its work will continue as usual. When the program is fully operational, SGI says it issues an average of $1.3 million in speeding fines each month. But with some cameras out of service, it's unclear how enforcement has been affected. Stacey Hine, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Rising repair costs and catastrophic weather and wildfires are leading to an increase in insurance claims. As Keenan Sorokon reports, it's draining SGI reserves and causing concern at the Crown.
It wasn't long ago that labor was the most expensive part of an auto insurance claim, but now it's the parts, and that's just one of many pressures depleting the Provincial Auto Fund.
The cost per claim that is coming in, especially on the auto fund side, which has been significantly increasing.
Despite a nearly 4% rate hike at the start of the month and deductibles rising from $700 to $950 on January 1st, SGI simply isn't breaking even on its auto claims. That means the Crown is having to dip into its reserves.
We can't rectify the sustainability with rate alone. So internally, we're looking at a lot of alternatives to reduce expenses and to increase revenue.
The auto fund is designed to break even, but new car repairs are costing much more than what's being paid into the fund, which has seen nearly $300 million deducted in 2 years, from $925 million at the start of last fiscal year down to $634 million in March.
Working with body shops to use used parts versus new, and we have a new fraud software that's going to help us to, when we look at claims, and be able to flag when there's problems.
This year isn't shaping up to be much better. The hailstorm that hit Regina 2 weeks ago might be the most expensive weather event in the province's history, with 13,000 claims causing $100 million in losses, with more claims expected in the coming weeks.
It's likely to hit our reinsurance layer on this one. It was significant.
On the property side, wildfire and storm claims nearly quadrupled compared to last year, but SGI SGI says it's not going anywhere.
There are other competitors that are removing themselves from the wildfire areas. They see it as great risk. We won't do that. We're here to support the people of Saskatchewan.
SGI says cash flow concerns are years away, but it needs to do everything it can to reverse these costly trends before it's too late. Keenan Sora-Khan, CTV News, Saskatoon.
As Saskatoon moves closer to a new transit bylaw designed to crack down on disruptive behavior and fare evasion, there are questions about enforcement. CTV's Laura Woodward has that story.
It is insanity.
Mary Fadoon regularly takes Saskatoon Transit. She says disruptive behavior, intoxicated passengers, and fare evasion have become all too common.
And it's embarrassing, as a city resident, to see and hear what people have to put up with, because there's nothing stopping them.
Saskatoon is working on creating a new transit bylaw. It would require riders to pay their fare and allow officers to remove people from transit property, issue temporary bans, and hand out $50 tickets for offenses such as distracting a driver or putting shoes on seats. The bus riders of Saskatoon Advocacy Group questioned how the rules will actually be enforced.
We wonder how implementation challenges will be handled. For example, do you really expect to collect fines from the homeless?
Councillor Jasmine Parker questioned how fare inspectors would handle glitches with mobile tickets, citing her own experiences with transfers failing to register properly.
Obviously, there's going to be discretion based in this system here to make sure that instances where people inadvertently can't have the ability to pay the fare and things like that aren't met with removal from service.
Molenbeek says Saskatoon Transit is working to provide receipts to passengers who use cash so they can prove they paid their fare.
We put money in the fare box. There's no receipt print. We're actively working on that.
In an effort to educate riders, Saskatoon plans to use this campaign from the Canadian Urban Transit Association. The ads encourage passengers to pay their fares, keep buses clean, and follow transit etiquette. If approved, the new transit bylaw is expected to come into effect in September. Laura Woodward, CTV News, Saskatoon.
High water levels expected on the North Saskatchewan River this weekend has the Prince Albert Fire Department advising the public to be cautious. Jasmine Pelche reports on what's being done in Prince Albert to lower the risk to the public.
Little Red River Park will be closed temporarily starting Friday due to high water levels in the North Saskatchewan River.
We know that will backflow into the park, and there are some low-lying areas that we are concerned that would be potential or at risk of flooding.
The Highway 55 entrance to the Cosmo Lodge and Naughty Pine Bistro will be closed during this time. The Water Security Agency says significant rainfall in Alberta the last week means above normal flows are moving downstream and will cause the North Saskatchewan River to rise by nearly 2 meters at North Battleford on Friday and Prince Albert on Saturday.
We are the default responders to the river, and that's why we want to stress, at this point in time, if something was to happen and someone was to go in the river, it puts everybody at risk. It not only puts the person that needs rescuing, but it would put the staff at risk as well.
Flows are expected to increase from about 450 cubic meters per second to 1,500 cubic meters per second.
When we're talking, 2 meter increase in river height, and when you're talking about the speed of the river tripling potentially, our advice, the advice from the City of Prince Albert and the Prince Albert Fire Department, are to stay clear.
The high flows will proceed downstream into the Saskatchewan River, causing it to rise about 2 meters as well. Expected rainfall this weekend could also contribute to high flow rates. For the time being, people are advised to be careful and stay away from the waterways.
We'll assess the situation throughout the weekend and see what happens on Monday.
The city says it will announce the reopening of Little Red River Park sometime next week. Jasmine Pelche, CTV News, Prince Albert.
The Saskatoon Fire Department's water rescue team was back on the river today. They were out at the weir in their boat that is specifically designed to allow crews to work in the area. The fire department says the team was dispatched after someone reported seeing something in the weir. In addition to the specialized watercraft, a drone was also flown over the area, but nothing was found. Crews have been searching the water since last weekend when a man on a jet ski went over the weir. His body has not been recovered. Jeff, the rain that is coming will only add to the water levels.
There's no question about that, Chantel. And how much rain, well, we don't know for certain right now. It could be over the course of the weekend, maybe into Monday, over 40 millimeters. Some parts of the province may see over 60 millimeters of rain. It's a big, widespread storm that is coming our way. And ultimately, we don't see much of it now, but this situation that's going on in British Columbia, low is going to ring itself out, then reform on the east side of the Rockies, and then start making its way into Saskatchewan, Alberta, and Manitoba. And we're expecting rain right across the prairies. We'll have the details for you later on.
A 32-year-old man from Grand Prairie has been charged with 3 counts of sexual assaults, with one of the alleged incidents happening in Lloydminster. Joseph Kidd is accused of assaulting or abducting 4 females ranging in age from 12 to 18. Police say Kidd took his first 2 victims to Grand Prairie. One was a 14-year-old girl from BC, the other an 18-year-old woman from Lloydminster. After being charged, he was released twice by the courts with conditions, but broke those conditions twice. In mid-June, 2 additional victims came forward. One was 12, the other 15. They told police he tried to get them into his yellow convertible. RCMP say there are potentially more victims.
Based on the cases presented before you today and the cases before the court, there is a possibility that there are additional victims out there, and we remain ready to assist and support those victims as necessary.
Joseph Kidd could be released again on July 11th. The RCMP is urging anyone who has been in contact with him in person or online to come forward. A man accused of shooting 2 RCMP officers in Melville earlier this week was back in court today. Marcus Dodge is charged with attempted murder and aggravated assault, among other offenses. RCMP were called Sunday evening to a home in the community where they were told he had gotten into a fight with neighbors. Upon arrival, 2 responding officers were shot, sustaining serious injuries. Dodge appeared in court in Yorkton this morning by video. His case has been moved to next week. A semi-driver who hit a Saskatoon overpass earlier this year has been fined. On March 5th, the semi-trailer was hauling an excavator traveling along Highway 11 at the south end of Saskatoon when it struck the Cloverleaf overpass for Highway 16. The impact sheared off the top of the excavator and caused significant damage to the overpass structure. Yesterday, in bylaw court, the driver of the semi pleaded guilty to damaging the infrastructure and was fined just over $11,000. The truck's owner, Regina-based Bowline Logistics, is also facing a traffic bylaw charge. The company is expected to enter a plea on July 8th. The City of Saskatoon has submitted a claim against Bowline and the driver and is waiting to hear back on what it can recover in repair costs. A house fire in the Park Ridge neighborhood is under investigation. Firefighters received the call just before 1 this morning. A house in the 400 block of Smith Crescent was on fire. They arrived to find smoke and flames coming from the roof of the home. Everyone inside was able to get out safely. An investigator will try to determine the cause and damage estimates. A teenager from North Battleford has died following a crash near Cochin. RCMP say they were called to a rollover on Highway 4 just north of Cochin just before 5 o'clock this morning. A teen who was a passenger in the vehicle died at the scene. Their name and age have not been released. A second passenger and driver were taken to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. The highway was closed, but has since reopened. Representatives from the federal government were in Saskatoon today cutting the ribbon on a 36-unit seniors home. Jubilee Residences, the City of Saskatoon, and Ottawa partnered to contribute $11.5 million in funding for the new Jubilee Terrace on 31st Street West. $7.4 million through the federal government's Affordable Housing Fund, $540,000 from the City of Saskatoon, and $3.5 million from Jubilee Residences. The facility has 1- and 2-bedroom units with recreation, garden, and outdoor patio space, as well as laundry on each floor. CMHC says residents will begin moving in right away. A boost today for the University of Saskatchewan's College of Medicine. The Hospitals of Regina Foundation is providing $4 million to support pediatric research at the college. It's part of a new clinical research program to study the earliest origins of health and disease for children in the province. The foundation says the cash commitment aims to support the need for pediatric health care. As part of the project, a clinical researcher will be recruited to build and lead a high-impact research program at USask. The closure of the University Bridge and the high river levels will cause a few adjustments to this year's Canada Day celebrations. Organizers say family activities, vendors, and entertainment will be spread along River Landing, KW Nasser Plaza, and near Friendship Park. The traffic bridge will again host food trucks. Because of the construction on the University Bridge, the fireworks will be launched from Rotary Park as well, which was the case last year. As a result, Rotary Park will be closed and road restrictions will be in place. The daytime activities get underway at noon, with the fireworks show launching at 10:30 at night. Still to come, renewed calls for tougher gun control in Canada. Also, Venezuela rocked by 2 powerful earthquakes. You're watching CTV News Live from downtown Saskatoon. Thanks for staying with us. In the wake of Monday's shooting, a prominent gun control group is reiterating calls for the federal government to immediately end the new sales of SKS model weapons. Annie Bergeron-Oliver has the latest.
Days after the deadly shooting, the scene is looking more like business as usual. Pedestrians have returned and many shops have reopened, but the memorial is still there, a lasting reminder of the lives lost and the questions still lingering, like why this happened and how. I'm upset by this. I'm really upset. The suspect has been identified as 25-year-old Seth Scott Hatfield of Lethbridge, Alberta. Police have not identified the type of firearm used in Monday's shooting, but images circulating online show a long gun lying on the ground that experts believe is likely a Russian SKS.
It's kind of fuzzy, but the SKS has a very distinctive feature. It has an integral bayonet that folds underneath the barrel, and you can see on the rifle in the picture what appears to be that integral bayonet.
Experts say the semi-automatic Soviet-era rifle and its many modified versions is a popular rifle among legal gun owners in Canada and among Indigenous hunters. But after Monday's shooting, the gun advocacy group Police Saskatchewan is reiterating calls for an immediate ban on all new sales of the SKS. A rifle, Police Saskatchewan says, has been linked to a number of mass shootings.
That's not taking anything away from anybody. That's just not allowing the problem to get even worse.
Ottawa says it is in the process of a broad review of Canada's firearm classification regime, and that will include consultations with Indigenous communities on the SKS.
We will have to introduce legislation for that to make those determinations, to make and to provide the full resources and the direct determinations so that they are made clearly, consistently in advance, and particularly as there are new firearms coming on.
The gun advocacy group Canadian Coalition for Firearms Rights accuses Police Saskatchewan of using this tragedy to push a long-held position against the SKS while ignoring the suspect's violent manifesto. They argue any gun could have been used in this shooting. Annie Bergeron-Oliver, CTV News, Montreal.
Rescue crews in Venezuela are seeing the devastating after 2 powerful earthquakes struck the South American nation just seconds apart. Millions are affected, and there are fears the death toll could be in the thousands. Heather Wright reports.
A woman waves a piece of clothing from this building in La Guaira, Venezuela, one of many people trapped inside their homes, following 2 of the most devastating earthquakes to hit Venezuela in more than a century. Both quakes struck near the country's northern coast. The first, a magnitude 7.2, hit around 6:04 p.m. The second, a magnitude 7.5, came just 40 seconds later.
And then I felt the ground shaking a little bit, and then just mass panic.
Rescue crews and civilians spent the night combing through the rubble of toppled buildings trying to find survivors. The 2 major earthquakes battering the country's already fragile infrastructure. More than 100 people are confirmed dead, with thousands of people still missing.
It's heartbreaking.
John Rosenberg is from Caracas and now lives in Toronto. He's worried about all the people still missing and about the devastating long-term impact these quakes will have on the country.
We feel like there was finally a recovery starting to happen, and to see the devastation and to see how much the infrastructure has suffered.
Today, Venezuela's President Delcy Rodriguez called for unity in the face of this disaster, which will likely further test her presidency. Rodriguez was installed after the United States ousted former President Nicolas Maduro in January. While Venezuela is an oil-rich country, decades of corruption and record-high inflation mean many services have been hollowed out, complicating rescue efforts. Today, Canada was among the many nations promising help.
We're working with our partners directly, and we will scale things as appropriate to move forward.
The Prime Minister says one of the challenges the government is facing when it comes to helping Canadians on the ground in Venezuela is that Canada does not have an embassy there. While there are no imminent plans to reopen one, Mark Carney says this disaster is a reminder of the importance of having a presence in foreign countries, even adversarial ones. Heather Wright, CTV News, Toronto.
Prime Minister Mark Carney was in Ottawa today addressing reporters in a wide-ranging news conference to wrap up this year's parliamentary sitting. He also revealed more details from yesterday's phone call with President Donald Trump. But with just 1 week to go before the deadline to review the Canada-US-Mexico Free Trade Agreement, Carney said the deal wasn't discussed. Here is CTV's Abigail Beeman with the details.
Morning. The Prime Minister ran through his record, touting a successful spring session.
We have the right plan. We're on track, but there's much more to do.
Taking questions, Mark Carney peeled back the curtain on what he called a long conversation with President Trump and senior officials, including Secretary of War Pete Hegseth.
On a range of issues, some related to NATO, some related to the situation in Iran and the broader Middle East, both current and structural issues. Is very constructive conversation. There's things we're working on together.
He wouldn't share details on Iran, but with the deadline for a review of the North American Free Trade Deal next week.
We didn't discuss Kuzma yesterday.
Mr. Carney has a long telephone conversation with the president and doesn't even bring it up. What could be a greater priority to this country?
CTV News asked the Prime Minister about these comments from the U.S. ambassador.
Obviously, we're not anywhere close to announcing any type of a framework or an interim agreement.
What I have seen with the president is that you're not close to make a deal and then you make a deal. So both things can be true.
Carney said Canada is holding out for a reason.
We could sign a bad deal this afternoon, right? We could have signed a bad deal a year ago. We're not going to sign a bad deal. So it has to be a real deal.
The Prime Minister also teased another topic, promising an announcement on the future of 24 Sussex. That's the official residence of the Prime Minister in disrepair that hasn't been lived in a decade. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
In the Middle East, a UN maritime agency has paused its program to assist ships through the Strait of Hormuz. The move comes after a cargo vessel reported being struck by a projectile today. Starting Tuesday, vessels began using an alternative route that runs along the coast of Oman. The path would remove Tehran's main source of leverage in ongoing peace talks with the U.S. But Iran has threatened ships using the new route. Traffic through the crucial energy corridor has increased, but is still well below pre-war levels. A NASA satellite has found 2 planets with a density similar to that of cotton candy. The space agency is referring to them as super puffs. The planets got that name because they are about the size of Jupiter, but have less than 6% of its mass. NASA detected their shadows as they passed in front of their sun. The planets are more than 1,100 light years away, and scientists are not sure exactly what they look like. This is an artist's interpretation. Cotton candy.
There you go.
Reminds you of summer fairs, but it's going to be raining.
Well, it's like Cloud Kingdom and Lando Calrissian, you know, it's all, that's what that's all about.
Sure. All right. The rain might melt that cotton candy, though.
Well, it would, seriously, space rain or chubby rain. Yeah, I'm crossing my movie metaphors there. But, yes, we have rain in the forecast, and it will certainly make cotton candy disappear along with cakes in the rain in MacArthur Park. So let's take a look and see what we've got going on here. I'm going everywhere, folks. 25 degrees right now in Saskatoon and 24 in both Prince Albert and the Battlefords, but more sunshine in the Battlefords. And as you can see, winds are on the light side in Prince Prince Albert. A little bit more of a moderate rain right now in Saskatoon and the Battlefords. Quick look at the almanac for Saskatoon. 25 is our 24-hour high, so 2 degrees above seasonal. And tomorrow looks like it's going to be a warm day as well. Record warm temperatures on this day, 34 degrees in 1961 and 1962. 1 degree, the record cold temperature from 2003. The sun is going to go down at 9:32.
Coming up, off to the races. The Saskatchewan team of technicians about to compete in a global affair.
Riding an incredible 44-game win streak. You heard me right, 44. Friday on Your Morning, we're in conversation with the Saskatoon Valkyries to find out how they've managed to achieve that level of success.
All right, let's take a look through the live lens of Skycam. Some light, fluffy clouds out there. And yes, we will not see much in the way of rainfall. There's always a risk, but ultimately, the big rain is going to start showing up on Saturday and then linger for about 4 or 5 days. So here's what I was talking about earlier. Just to recap, there's a cool pool of air that has moved down from the Gulf of Alaska. That is impacting parts of British Columbia. Now, BC needs the rain because particularly the interior where the fire danger is so high. That system is going to sort of, as I say, wring itself out, but then it's going to reform on the east side of the Rockies and start tracking through Saskatchewan, Alberta, and Manitoba. And we are looking at rain for all 3 provinces. It looks like the classic track along the Yellowhead could be where much of the rain falls, but we'll have to wait and see. But 25 degrees in Saskatoon and 24 in both Prince Albert and the Battlefords at the moment. The hot spot in the province, Uranium City at 27. And yes, it was Uranium City yesterday at 27. Today, a different cold spot. It's Key Lake at 4. Now on to the current temperatures. It's 23 right now in Lloydminster and Moose Jaw, 21 in Swift Current. It's also 23 in Regina and Yorkton, 21 in Estevan. Into central parts of the province, temperatures in the low to mid-20s right now. Up north, what do we got? Well, temperatures actually quite warm. Look at that. Stony Rapids at 26 degrees, 25 in Key Lake and Buffalo Narrows and South End. And into southern Saskatchewan, no breakout temperatures there. They've had some rain in the southwest, and so you can see just 13 degrees in East End. Towards the rest of the south central and southeastern Saskatchewan, you can see temperatures basically around 22 degrees or thereabouts. Now, here we go with our futurecast. So we're still dealing with those pop-up showers because of daytime heating, but the big deal is the system moving in from British Columbia and ultimately Alberta and into Saskatchewan. So you can certainly see some intense weather for tomorrow. We can tell you there are heat warnings in effect for parts of Northwest Territories and Northern Alberta. Some thunderstorm watches and warnings in effect, and there's also a rainfall alert that doesn't show up on our maps, but that has been issued for Alberta. Nothing for Saskatchewan yet. Temperatures of mid to high 20 values in the northern part of the province tomorrow with a mix of sky conditions. For the most part, mainly cloudy skies in west central areas, a bit more sunshine in Spiritwood, but temperatures of 25 or 26 throughout the region. And that's pretty much the case for the southwest, maybe a little warmer, but ultimately we've got ourselves temperatures in the mid to high 20s with mainly cloudy or cloudy skies. Mainly cloudy skies and temperatures around 24 or 25 degrees for the southeast. And we've got ourselves a chance of showers in Melfort, a better chance of showers and a risk of a thunderstorm for Hudson Bay tomorrow. Temperatures around 25 degrees for east central Saskatchewan. Dropping down to 13 degrees tonight. Slight chance of a shower, risk of a thunderstorm. 26 degrees tomorrow, but with windy conditions for the Battlefords. And then the rain starts to show up. And as I mentioned, when all is said and done, we could have well over 60 millimeters of rain by the time we wrap up on Canada Day. Right now, Canada Day looking kind of dodgy for the Battlefords. Prince Albert, slight chance of showers, risk of a thunderstorm tomorrow. Mainly sunny skies, 26 degrees. And then into the rainy situation, particularly on Sunday and Monday. And Tuesday is looking pretty soggy as well. And finally for Saskatoon, well, 12 degrees overnight, slight chance of showers, risk of a thunderstorm, yada, yada, yada. 26 degrees with moderate winds tomorrow with mainly cloudy skies. And then on Saturday, the rain starts to show up and it sticks around for 4 days, it looks like right now. Right now, Saskatoon is looking like Canada Day. We might be okay. Fingers crossed.
Jelly Roll headlines the Outskirts Music Festival. Also on the bill, Third Eye Blind, Wide Mouth Mason, Braden King, and Cooper Allen. Gates open at 2:30 tomorrow.
Tell it to me straight.
There's a Glamazonian Express headed directly into a massive storm.
Now tell it to me gay.
RuPaul leads the cast of Stop That Train. Reminiscent of the movie Airplane from 1980, Stop That Train opens Friday at the Roxy. Saturday, the Broadway presents the unofficial tribute show, Taylor, a tribute to the eras of Taylor Swift music. Whew, that's quite the title. Showtime is 7 o'clock. The Piano Men features 4 of Saskatoon's top piano players in one special show, Saturday evening 7:30 at the Basement. Seen here in rehearsals, Saskatoon summer players present Oliver. You have until Sunday to pop down to the Ramey Arts Centre to take in this classic Broadway musical. You still have time to catch some theaters' The Color of the Town as it tours Saskatoon city parks. The final performance is on Tuesday, June 30th. Please visit the website for times and locations. Toronto's award-winning Peadora Tango Ensemble returns to Saskatoon on Thursday, July 2nd. Showtime is 7:30 at the Basement.
Well, Jeff, I hear you were checking out some books with a big celebrity today.
Well, kind of a celebrity. We're reading 9 to 5. What a way to get some learning. I think I'm okay with the copyright there. Candace Odeshaw is with us today. She's with the Saskatoon Newtanic Rotary Club. And there's a big celebration going on here at the Alice Turner Library tomorrow. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, exactly. So from 12:30 until 2 o'clock, Jeff, in the auditorium, we're going to be having a reading time, activities, music, cake, and juice boxes for the kids. So bring your kids down.
All right. And what does Dolly have to do with this?
Well, we recently took on the Dolly Parton's Imagination Library here in Saskatoon, and they are actually celebrating 2 huge milestones. So in Canada, they've been here for 20 years now, and they'll be delivering their 5 millionth book out to kids this month.
Wow, that is something to celebrate. So once again, that's taking place right here tomorrow at the Alice Turner Library. And just before we go, got a favorite Dolly song?
I like the 9 to 5. Yes.
Okay, fair enough then. Okay.
Not how you sang it, but.
Well, this is over.
All right, Jeff.
She's not wrong. Let's clarify. I love Dolly Parton. I'm just saying she wasn't there in person. It was a cutout.
This is true. Maybe next time they'll fly her in for you.
Maybe.
Yeah, I know you're a big fan. We're all a big fan of Pick of the Day. What did you pick for us?
We have 3 wonderful shots here. We're going to start off with this one. It comes to us from, look, it's a rainbow. This comes to us from Ron. This is from yesterday in Lanigan. Ron says, a shower came through and pointed out the pot of gold. Chocolates. All right. Thank you, Ron. Next from Adele. Adele writes, I received a white iris root from a kind lady in Saskatoon who would not accept payment for it. She said her root had been gifted to her, and she was paying it forward. Her only stipulation was that I do the same, and 3 people have now been gifted with roots, and they have been asked to do the same when it's time to split the plant. Very nice. Very nice looking flower there, too. And finally, from Shannon. Hi, Jeff. This is one of the beautiful Baltimore Orioles that come to our yard every year to gobble up the grape jelly I put out for them. They sure do love it. Boy, I know that. They really do. And that's a really nice shot of an Oriole. That's a boy Oriole. There you go. And if you'd like to share an image with us, you can do so by sending it to cfqcnews@ctv.ca. Please put Pick of the Day in the subject line. It helps us sift through all of our emails and get to the photos.
Still to come on CTV News, precision under pressure. The top technicians about to compete and the Saskatchewan team part of it. A team of Saskatchewan technicians are about to put their talents to the test. They are headed to Sweden to show off their service skills in the trucking industry. Erica Matarash has more.
For service technicians, diagnosing a problem isn't just about tools, it's about precision under pressure. That pressure is exactly what teams face in the Volvo International Service Training Awards, a global competition that tests the best of the best.
I would say it's pretty stressful. I mean, the semifinals, everything was timed. Like I say, it was pretty new information to us. And making one mistake can make a big difference.
The Regina team, known as Adaptive Crews from Sterling Truck and Trailer Sales, earned their spot in the World Championship after a strong performance in the semifinals. Competing against top technicians, they face tight time limits and high-stakes scenarios.
You need to manage your time properly. Try not to panic. Look at the answers, take some time and make sure we're going in the right direction. Because if you go in the wrong direction and you panic, like, the time goes quickly.
The competition demands more than technical knowledge, it tests mental discipline as well. From troubleshooting advanced systems to working efficiently under pressure, every second counts.
Very proud of these guys. They work very hard for us. This is a national competition, so to be there representing North America with only 3 other teams is very big.
As they get ready to compete, the goal is simple: stay sharp, stay focused, and work together. Adaptive Crews will represent Canada against top teams from around the globe on September 7th. Eric Madarash, CTV News, Regina.
When we come back, we check in to see how farmers are faring this week, and later, who's coming to town for the CCMAs later this year.
Here's what's happening in our community. Some Theaters, The Color of the Town, continues its tour of Saskatoon City Parks until June 30th. For times and locations for this free, family-friendly show, please visit the website. SCI Sask is hosting its 7th annual golf tournament on August 8th at Holiday Park Golf Course. Sponsorships and team registrations are now open. You can submit your community event by visiting our website and clicking on Community Calendar or scan the QR code on your screen.
And by the way, it doesn't cost anything to submit items to the community calendar, so check it out. Let's check out these numbers as we take a look at our rural forecast for tomorrow. So temperatures warmer than seasonal. Things are looking good for Friday. We've got ourselves temperatures in and around that 25, 26 degree mark. Mainly cloudy skies, with some places like Spiritwood getting a bit more in the way of sunshine. Hudson Bay, Melfort, they could see some shower activity. Don't expect it to be a day-long event, but still warm temperatures in those communities. Watch us at 26 degrees. 26 for Maple Creek, 27 in Leader. And then as we make our way towards the eastern side of the province, temperatures drop down to more seasonal values, but still a pretty pleasant day shaping up in much of Saskatchewan. Kenora, a chance of some showers, and 24 degrees on Friday. Let's take a look at Theodore. Well, Theodore is looking at 24 degrees with partly cloudy skies, and then we have a bit of a wind. It's a breezy day. Southeasterly winds at 20 kilometers an hour, gusting to 40. So that's how things are shaping up on Friday in Theodore, and that's where internet plans of up to 1 gig are available from SaskTel.
A Saskatchewan court has imposed a 6-figure fine and a sentence for a BC man for tax evasion. According to the Canada Revenue Agency, Kui Wang was working as an unregistered immigration consultant and pleaded guilty to 2 counts of tax evasion. The CRA says he failed to report close to $500,000 in income between 2013 and 2016. Yesterday, he was sentenced to a 6-month conditional sentence order at Court of King's Bench in Regina and was fined just over $112,000. Seeding is all but complete in Saskatchewan, but some farms are dealing with saturated fields from recent rainfall. Most producers have now moved into haying, spraying, and monitoring for pests and disease. The majority of crops are making progress, but the Ministry of Agriculture says a notable portion of crops are lagging behind due to cooler, cloudy conditions. Oilseeds are the most impacted, with 45% of the crop behind regular development stages. Producers are now looking for better weather to support growth. The Saskatchewan Health Authority is extending the hours for child health clinics in the Saskatoon area. Starting the week of June 28th, the clinics will offer evening appointments and Saturday hours for clinics. Public health nurses at the clinics can provide vaccines, screening, and support for families. More information on the new clinic hours and locations can be found on the Saskatchewan Health Authority's website. The Ministry of Highways is urging drivers to check the highway hotline before heading out on a summer road trip. The highway hotline is often used during the winter for its road condition updates, but the province is reminding people they can also find information on construction zones, closures, and traffic delays. Construction activity is ramping up, so drivers can expect to see construction zones, lane restrictions, flaggers, and pilot vehicles in work areas. Drivers are reminded to slow down, stay alert, and follow the signs to keep workers safe. The Riders held their walkthrough day today before Friday's game versus the Toronto Argonauts. Joining AJ Ouellette on the sidelines will be Canadian receiver Del Duncan Busby. In his place will be Deshaun Mims, who played special teams to start this year. With the injuries, it means former University of Saskatchewan Husky Daniel Wiebe will suit up for his first career CFL regular season game as a backup receiver. Despite the lack of starting experience or Deshaun Mims' quarterback, Trevor Harris is confident in his second-year receiver.
He's explosive. He can really run. He's paying attention to every word in meetings. When you tell him to do something, he does it. And I think that he's the kind of guy that could come out and make some big catches tomorrow and maybe get in the end zone. You don't know, especially with the way we kind of do progressions and the way that we kind of formulate the game plans. He's a guy that could really take off tomorrow. You just never know. And so I'm excited for Deshaun.
Jonathan Edward will replace Juju Hughes on defense. Kickoff is 7 p.m. from Mosaic Stadium. BlackBerry shares spiked today after the Canadian company reported solid earnings. Marilla Fernandez explains.
BlackBerry's raising its annual revenue forecast. That sent shares up about 20% today. The company's focus is QNX, its critical operating system for vehicles. In its most recent quarter, BlackBerry reported revenue of $153 million US, a 26% improvement year over year. BlackBerry now predicts full-year revenue for 2027 to be around $600 million. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar is up to 70.43. West Texas Intermediate up over $2 to 71.97. Western Canadian Select is down over $3 to 55.77. And the TSX is up 114 points today. Those are your business headlines. I'm Marilla Fernandez.
Coming up, the Raccoons rocking out in Central Park. And what's in store for the CCMAs when they take the stage in Saskatoon.
Select Hair Service is brought to you by Sage, the beauty bar.
Stay with us for another great night of television starting tonight at 7 with CMA Fest. Well, we know who will hit the stage at the 2026 Canadian Country Music Association Awards in Saskatoon.
And I believe with the deepest part of my soul, I wouldn't be a man without a woman.
Dean Brody, who is set to release his 10th studio album called The 10th Album, will hit the stage along with Saskatchewan's own Hunter Brothers, Kelsey Kulik, and Jess Moskaluk. The James Barker Band, Reclaws, and Owen Riegling will also perform. The CCMAs are set to take over SaskTel Centre on September 19th. They will air exclusively on CTV and Crave.
That'll be a fun week.
It definitely will be. All right, well, a cute furry family in New York City is going viral. This mama raccoon and her two babies are nestled nicely in this tree in Central Park. This sighting is extra special for locals because raccoons are nocturnal and aren't often spotted out during the day. But looks like they're taking a little peek outside.
Why not? It's New York, baby.
Yeah.
That's cute.
They don't mind a few extra residents.
No, exactly. No.
Think? All right, rain is coming.
Rain is coming, yes. It'll make things green like Central Park. We've got ourselves some very rainy conditions, but tomorrow, things are looking good. So I'm saying embrace tomorrow because temperatures mid-afternoon around 26 degrees. And it looks like it's going to stick that way around 5 o'clock. So a nice day tomorrow, but yes, rain is on the way for the weekend.
A nice day for the Outskirts Music Festival tomorrow.
Yeah, Outskirts Music Festival tomorrow. And then, of course, we've got Pride festivities ongoing on the weekend.
Maybe it won't rain in that general parade zone.
Maybe you're right.
We'll see. Thanks for watching.